Hi, Dave Csanda here with this week's Buzz Bite Report for the Upper Midwest at anglingbuzz.com. And let's just say that with the weather changes this week, some people have had to put their optimism on hold, at least for a brief time, as far as getting in on their big spring catches. We had weather just beginning to get nice enough where we heard some early spawning reports from walleyes from Charlie Moore over in South Dakota. Some pike moving on the Missouri River. Kerry Conal talking about people catching dead bait pike, big pike in the back ends of the bays off of Lake Oahe. Things were starting to click a little bit, and then the weather really hammered us as winter seems like it's still hanging on, and spring hasn't quite been able to win the battle yet. So we still have very cold temperatures, and fish are not aggressively moving into early spring feeding and spawning areas. We may have walleyes, for instance, gathering near spawning areas around rocky areas, and pike lingering a lot in the back ends of bays, doing some feeding where they spawn nearby. But in general, things haven't really kicked off. And I think what we're seeing here is not our typical northern states weather. Here in this part of the country, we're used to a fast warm-up after the ice finally goes out. And what we're seeing instead is an early ice out, but a very gradual warm-up, which is more typical in the southern states. And down in the southern states, you typically see, you don't see that big burst of fish activity. You see little waves of fish popping in every few weeks, coming into feeding and spawning type areas, and people sort of gravitating out onto the water rather than the explosion of going out for an opening day fiesta, so to speak. So things are definitely different this year, but hang in there with us. Little by little, the weather is starting to warm, and those fish are going to start behaving the way you want them to, and you'll be starting to find them. In the meantime, look in and around spring feeding areas, but if they're not up shallow, back off a little bit deeper. Look for fish that are a little less aggressive, and you will continue to catch some fish, okay? Now, in the meantime, you can go out to our Buzz Bite reports here on the website and see what our state-by-state guys are saying out in the field. Admittedly, we don't have a lot of reports because the weather's been nasty, but it's definitely coming. It's on the way. So hang in here with us. Spring is coming. And as I always like to say, look at the reports, and these guys are going to help you put more and bigger fish in your boat in the weeks ahead.